Hey folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network. Yeah, folks. Yeah, oh, I chuckle every day. I just heard Ernest Lee. Go look him up on Facebook. Ernest Lee, affectionately known as General Lee. He spelled it out very succinctly and very specifically. And the way I see it, folks, is when somebody talks, you better listen. Because there might be some little jewel of information in there that just might be the one thing that would help you understand what's going on. And it is very possible, and I'm going to say this, it is very possible to misunderstand a whole lot, but when I was listening to Ernest Lee this morning, just about 5 minutes ago, he had a Facebook Live thing, and he spelled it out perfectly. He said to chill and not criticize, basically jump off the Trump train, not criticize Trump for all he's doing. Chill out, because the second thing Ernest Lee said was that Trump knows what he's doing. He's a CEO, not a politician, which is exactly what we need in the office of the presidency. Okay? So, where do you stand on this whole business of putting the country back in the hands of the people? Because that's basically where we need it right now, in the hands of the people, because obviously the damn politicians don't know what they're doing. Me and my coffee, folks. Hey, let me go here. You notice a couple of months ago, I think it was about a month or so ago, Sears sold off their Craftsman brand to Black & Decker. Well, if you go into Walmart, you'll see Black & Decker there. If you go into some other, like Ace Hardware, you'll see Craftsman stuff and Black & Decker stuff. Black & Decker's pretty good. I got a couple of Black & Decker tools, and they're pretty decent. They do the job quite well, actually. So when they sold it off to Black & Decker, I'm thinking to myself, Sears is on the way out. As of the 23rd of March, 2017, CNBC says, with Sears' future in doubt, vendors begin pulling back. Historic retailers face bankruptcy. Suppliers of Sears Holdings told Reuters they are doubling down on defensive measures such as reducing shipments and asking for better payment terms to protect against the risk of non-payment, as the company warned about its finances. The company's disclosure turned the focus on its vendors as tension is expected to mount ahead of the key fourth quarter selling season amid rising concern about a potential bankruptcy, they said. The storied American retailer, whose roots date back to 1886, said on Tuesday that, quote, substantial doubt exists related to the company's ability to continue as a going concern. So that one's there. It says read more, so I'll just put that on the podcast Facebook page at American Liberty Radio Podcast. I mean, this is not the first time a retailer in the history of America has decided to come out and say, we doubt we're going to be here next year. Basically is what they're saying. And we've seen retailers file bankruptcy and come out of it pretty damn good afterwards. But this is Sears we're talking about. Okay? Any type of service or retail outlet depends upon your dollar, folks. Your dollar. Nothing else. Okay? Now, I want to tell folks right here, right now, because I'm going to go in this direction before I get into the sanctuary city raids that have happened across the country. Steve Pieczenik says and explains how the neocons are attempting to destroy America. Okay? So that's a video that you need to look at. I can say whatever I want, but it's not going to help you understand what Steve Pieczenik said. If you don't know who he is, go look him up. Steve Pieczenik, 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 Steve Pieczenik. Go look him up. The neocons, Paul Ryan being one of them, that wants to support a Obamacare light, is one of those neocons that wants to destroy America. I don't give one rip what you think about politics. I don't care what you think about, the the backdoor deals that are going. I don't really care if you think I'm a conspiracy theorist. Let me tell you one thing right now. Your ass is on the line, because if these neocons, they're called neocons, I'm going to tell you exactly what they are. They're progressives on both sides of the aisle, and they want to destroy America. If you're not accepting of that, if you do not believe that, if you do not do your research and look into all of that, then there's the door. Bye. Have a nice day. I don't really care about what you feel is wrong about this country. Because frankly, I think if you don't like this country, you can pack it and get out and find a country of your own that supports your own political idealism. Okay? No, I really do. I don't care if you were born and raised here. If you come to the point of hating America to the point of not wanting someone like Trump in the office of the presidency to turn this country around and make it great again, and to do what has to be done to be more conservative and to get rid of government intervention in the states and get rid of government and statewide overregulation of businesses and all of that, and to build. If you don't want to build businesses, if you don't want to allow people to protect themselves or to have their freedoms or to do whatever they need to do to make a life for themselves, why don't you just pack your shit and get the hell out of the country? Pardon my French. I don't usually say stuff like that. But with the microphone off, oh, you hear a lot of that. Because I don't care if you were born and raised here. If you say that you were an American and you say that you want what's best for America, but you side with the neocons, with the progressives, with the Pelosi's, with the Boxers, with the Feinsteins, with the Breeds, if you side with them and say you want America to be the best that it can be, you're lying. You're flat out lying. Okay? There you go. I got nothing else to say about you guys. Okay? CNN is reporting, Communist News Network is reporting ICE targeting sanctuary cities with raids. Administration unhappy with local agencies limiting cooperation on detention. I wonder why. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has been targeting so-called quote-unquote sanctuary cities with increased enforcement operations in an effort to pressure those jurisdictions to cooperate with federal immigration agents, a senior U.S. immigration official with direct knowledge of ongoing ICE actions told CNN. A sanctuary city is a broad term applied to states, city, and or counties that have policies in place designed to limit cooperation or involvement in the enforcement of federal immigration operations. More than 100 U.S. jurisdictions, among them New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, identify as such, and San Francisco, and whole of California. Let's just put it that way. High-ranking ICE officials have discussed in internal meetings carrying out more raids on those locations, said the source. This week, a federal judge in Texas seems to have confirmed that tactic. U.S. Magistrate Judge Andrew Austin revealed during an immigration hearing Monday that a mid-February raid in the Austin metro area was done in retaliation for a local sheriff's recent decision to limit her department's cooperation with ICE. In other words, let the sanctuary cities fill up with illegal aliens and we don't care because we're not going to deport them. That's what Austin was saying. That's what this local sheriff in Texas was saying. Okay? So, in other words, open the borders. Let everybody in. Let's screw American workers. Okay? Let's put them on the chopping block. In other words, folks, let's put all Americans on the unemployment line and let's limit unemployment. Let's just get rid of unemployment and let's make them slaves, and we'll just come in and confiscate everything they have through the banks and through some other nefarious little policies that we have. Do you see where this is going, folks? Here, let me spell it out for you. Let me give you an example. You're working a job, you're making, let's just say you're making, I'll just throw a number out here. You're making $12, $13 an hour. You've been working there. You're up for a raise. You see this raise coming up. You're up for a raise, right? So, the boss, the supervisor, whoever comes along and says, hey, I got something to talk to you about. Come on in the office. And you always know that you're either in trouble or going to get fired because the person isn't so cheery when they come and ask you to come into the office. So they said, well, we're kind of downsizing here. We got some things going on. And the first thing out of your mouth is going to be, I'm out of here. You're firing me because, I'm working well, and I know why you're firing me. It's all political correctness. Bye-bye. I've done that. It just said, I know why you're doing this. I'll see you later. I just left. Filed for unemployment, went from there. And that was many years ago. That was back in the 90s. And I knew about this. And I've talked to so many people, since 96, 97, 98, that I can guarantee you that every single time your boss walks up to you or your supervisor walks up to you and says, hey, can I talk to you in the office? You might as well just look at him and go, I'll clean out my locker later. When he's cheery, if they're, hey, I got something, if they're just really, effervescent, if you will. I like that word, effervescent. It's like Alka-Seltzer, you know what I mean? Might as well take a lot of that because, you go in the office, you might as well either, prepare to get fired or, prepare to get a raise. Either one. There's no middle ground in that, okay? So anyway, you have these sanctuary cities, and basically they're Doors are wide open. Let the illegals come in. If you look at each and every single one of those sanctuary cities and the governors of those states and the mayors of those cities, you will see open border. These people are for open borders. Open border supporters. That's what I call them. Okay? These people don't want you to succeed. These people don't want you to help that business out succeed. And by you helping that business succeed, that means you are going to get a few pennies or maybe a buck or two in your paycheck in the next 6 months. You see how that works? You see how that all like plays together, you know? You see how that, you got that, right? Because once you do that, and once the company starts succeeding, and once everything begins to grow, and the city grows, and everything is going to be fine. But see, they don't want that. See, the government, the states, the cities, they don't want that. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to have a business of your own to succeed, to help your family, your friends, your neighborhood, your former coworkers possibly. They don't want you to succeed. I'm going to ask this question even though I already know the answer to it. Do you know why the progressives want open borders? Do you know why? I'll tell you why, and you probably have already come up with some of your own answers, but I'm going to tell you why. And it's basically this. Progressives, the Republicans and Democrats, all together in one party, Progressive Party, and there's a few stragglers out there like, Rand Paul and people like that who are telling everybody else, hey, don't believe this group over here, which is the Progressive Party. The Progressive Party wants to completely collapse the United States of America and turn it into a third world country because they are minions of their bosses that are in Washington, D.C., controlling everything, including them in a very, puppetry type way. They have their strings attached to these politicians that are telling you everything's fine, the economy's fine. These progressives are being manipulated by higher people in Washington, D.C. who own and run Washington, D.C. But those people have bosses, and those bosses are telling their underlings, collapse the United States, make everybody slaves, turn it into a third world country because no one should have freedom as much as these people in the United States of America. Have I drawn my assessment to a conclusion at that point? Do you understand where all of this is going? Have you focused your attention on those things in your own life and in your own city, state, and county to understand this is what's going on? Let me ask you a question. Very basic, very simple question, something you can answer for yourself because I already know the answer. And that is, how many parks do you have in your city? How many biking paths do you have in your city? How many areas of beautification do you have in your city? How many downtown areas that once looked like war zones are now looking very pristine with new trees and this and every? How many of your cities have that? Okay. The answer is, if you haven't figured it out already, is Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, promoted, created, and implemented by the United Nations. Go look under UN Agenda 21, UN Agenda 2030. Go look that up. If you would, please. Thank you. I don't know, folks. We're getting into some really, really, really tough territory here. We are. And you really have to pay attention to what's going on. It's the 24th of March, 2017. Hey, if you are an independent artist, independent filmmaker, independent author, in other words, if you're not corporatized, Go check out my friend over at Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz, Mr. Tom Slick. He's the host of The Morning Brew, and he promotes you, your music, your books, your films, everything. He does it all. He's an awesome dude, Mr. Tom Slick over at The Morning Brew on Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. You can go to their website at 926theblitz.rocks, 926theblitz.rocks. Tell him I sent you. Yeah, so there you go. Go check out Mr. Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio and Television at livetruthradio.com, livetruthradio.com. You'll like him. He's right up there. I've talked to him a few times on the phone, talked to him on air, and I got to tell you, man, this guy, he's right up there. He you think I pull no punches? This guy will punch you in the face and go, did that hurt? You won't even see it coming. That's the way it is. Mr. Brian Lang over at livetruthradio.com. So check him out on his show, Live Truth Radio, with your host, Mr. Brian Lang, livetruthradio.com. You can also check out, and I saw him just a little earlier before coming on the show this morning, and that would be Mr. Ernest Lee. Go check him out. Mr. Ernest Lee, he has an announcement for all you. So check him out. He had a live Facebook broadcast this morning talking about a few things. So go check him out on Facebook, Mr. Ernest Lee. Yes, check him out. So anyway, another person to check out, young college student, very, very knowledgeable about what's going on. He has a show today on Evangel University Radio, so go check him out at Evangel University, and also check out what he does on The Truth War. That's his radio network, thetruthwar.net. Mr. John Christopher J. Man Collins. Go check him out. thetruthwar.net. All right, folks. Hey, let's go here. I'm gonna take you further down the rabbit hole. I do voiceovers, folks, so if you need something done, please contact me at American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Law enforcement, federal law enforcement resources overwhelmingly spent on immigration crime. Natalie Johnson at the Free Beacon has talked about this. Half of the law enforcement arrests in 2014 were immigration-related crimes. Yeah, kind of like over 30, what is it now? About 36% of all nonviolent crimes committed by people, these quote-unquote criminals in prison, are all marijuana charges. Did you know that? About 35, 36%, somewhere around in there. You know, but yeah, it's like victimless crimes. Hello. Come on. Legalize marijuana, get it over with. Do you know why they don't? Because there's more money in arresting someone for marijuana than there is in anything else, because it is the most prolific drug, quote unquote, drug in the system. Okay? It has the widest use. Okay, that's why the federal government under the God, I can't remember the name of it now. It's so many alphabet departments in Washington D.C. They don't want to legalize cannabis oil or anything like that because it cures all these diseases. Well, Big Pharma said, no, we're going to stop all that. Oh, by the way, did you know that Big Pharma bought through their other organizations that are related to them? Did you know that they bought over 1 billion rounds of ammunition? Did you know that? Interesting. So I could be wrong on that, but connect the dots, find out for yourself. But Big Pharma does not want the federal government to legalize marijuana, cannabis oil, anything like that, because it cures people of a multitude of disorders and diseases and illnesses. There you go. I like my coffee, folks. Yeah. Federal law enforcement resources overwhelmingly spent on immigration crime. Yeah, immigration crime. Immigration-related crimes made up half of all federal law enforcement arrests in 2014, according to a new Department of Justice report released Thursday. Immigration offenses accounted for more than 81,000 of the 165,000 arrests made by federal authorities in 2014, the Bureau of Justice Statistics found in its study. Nearly two-thirds of the total number of federal arrests occurred in the five jurisdictions that sit along, wait for it, the U.S.-Mexico border. The report further found those arrests along the U.S. southern border to be more likely than those arrested in any other region in the country to return to federal prison within 3 years of release. Quote, the statistics make it clear that immigration-related offenses along the U.S. border with Mexico account for an enormous portion of the federal government's law enforcement resources, and that we must enforce our immigration laws in a way that consistently deters future violations, unquote, Justice Department spokeswoman Sarah Flores said in a statement Thursday. Can I translate what she said for you? These statistics make it clear that immigration-related offenses along the U.S. border with Mexico account for an enormous portion of federal government's law enforcement resources. Okay, that we understand that. And, she says, going on, that we must enforce our immigration laws in a way that consistently deters further violations, unquote. We must enforce our immigration laws. How about if we just take away the incentive for them to be here? Let's not, the laws are on the books. So let's enforce those puppies. You know what I'm saying? But let's take away the incentive for them to be here. You know? Somebody argued with me once saying, well, they come from a crap hole country. Well, they need to be free just like everybody else. And it's a humane thing for them to come over here. And they want to be free. And, and this argument went on for, a few minutes. And I just sat there looking at this guy going, oh, so you're for open borders? No. We need to enforce our immigration laws. Yeah, you just sold yourself out on your own argument, dude. It's like what are you going to do? Open the borders, let everybody in, or enforce the damn immigration laws and kick these assholes out of here. You know what I'm saying? They're criminals. Pardon my French once again. But if you guys download this and play this on your network, you can bleep those out, okay? I'm just saying. Enforce the damn laws, okay? And another argument I had with somebody, well, not really an argument, I was having a discussion with somebody, and they said, who made it illegal for people to come to this country? Well, I can send you clear back to 1871 to President Ulysses S. Grant, who signed the Act of 1871 into law, creating basically the United States of America Incorporated. So if you have somebody coming into this country after that, they're illegal. Now, when you look at all the immigration from other countries at Ellis Island many, many years ago at the turn of the 20th century, look at how many people were turned away. Huh? Nobody knows that. Nobody remembers that. How many people were turned away? Okay. Here, let me do something. If I can talk. Too much coffee, I would say. How many people were turned, if I can spell turned right, turned away at Ellis Island in the early 20th century? And I'm putting this up here, folks. You hear me typing. See, this is stuff I do, man. Facts and summary, okay? Let me look at that. That's history.com, by the way. That's the historychannel.com. Ellis Island opened in 1892 as a federal immigration station. It served for more than 60 years. It closed in 1954. Millions of newly arrived immigrants passed through the station, and during that time, it has been estimated that close to 40% of all current U.S. citizens can trace at least one of their ancestors to Ellis Island. Now, I'm going to put this up there because, time constraints, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to put this on the Facebook page, American Liberty Radio Podcast, American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. You can also catch me on American Liberty Radio on gab.ai at American Liberty Radio, gab.ai. So there you go. Put that up there, let you listen to it. Or let you read it, really. Hey, I passed my bottom of the hour break. See, folks, I get to talking. I'll be back in a minute 23. Don't go away. This is American Liberty Radio Network.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and it was good. Then God created man, and it wasn't bad. But the masses were asses. They were lost. They had no guidance. So God sat and thought about it. And he created the Exum Experience. And God sent forth Alex to entertain the people of Israel, the Canaanites, the Palestinians, and the douchebags. And Alex led his flock through the dark, cold, rugged terrain of Long Beach Radio. He conquered the Hmong's. He cast down the elderly and banished the Falburn. And it was good. The Exum Experience. It's not just a show, it's a religious experience.
Join me live Friday at 5 only at alexexum.com.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Shattering the lies and the disinformation. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. Hey folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, at American Liberty Radio on gab.ai, and of course, American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. Yeah. So anyway, hey, check out another friend of mine, Mr. Nick Tucker, over at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. Yes. Let me go give you his gab.ai information. And I want to say this while I'm going there. I want to say that a lot of people look at me and they say, well, how can you believe anything that anybody ever says? How can you believe the alternative media? How can you believe, all it's called put the pieces together and, 1 plus 1 in my book still equals 2. So, last time I checked, that's what it was. So, I'm typing here, folks. Sorry. Reality with Nick Tucker. There we go. So, there we go. There it is right there. There it is right there. Go to gab.ai, look for at Distorted Reality NT. That would be Nick Tucker, but Distorted Reality NT. Okay. Or look for Nick Tucker. You'll find him. So there you go. That's his information there. You can also find him at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. He's being censored. I know I am. I just found out that I am because I used to have a whole bunch of people coming to my page at American Liberty Radio Network. Now it's American Liberty Radio, it's American Liberty Radio Podcast because the network Facebook page is going away. And I used to have a lot of people there. It would show how many people saw this post, that kind of thing. You see that, right? I used to have a lot of people see this stuff. And I had over 260 some odd people at the page. Now I'm telling them, hey, come over to the podcast page. But, so there is quite a bit of censorship on Facebook. If you're conservative, right-wing, anti-big government, anti-big pharma, Facebook's going to shut you down. Facebook's going to put you in Facebook jail. I mean, that's just the way it is. So anyway. Yeah, folks. I may go into overdrive today. I'm not quite sure because, hey, that's just the way I roll. Just letting you know. Okay. Pentagon denies trying to shelve study that found $125 billion in waste. DOD didn't bother to make the cuts. Yeah. The Defense Department on Tuesday denied it tried to quash, Q-U-A-S-H, quash a 2015 study that found it could save $125 billion in non-combat administrative programs, but admitted it has so far only found a small fraction of those savings. As Stars and Stripes' Travis Tritton reports via military.com, the department hopes to save $7.9 billion during the next 5 years through recommendations in a study of back office waste, which itself cost about $9 million to complete. The Defense Department's acting deputy chief management officer told a House panel. Now, got some math experts out there, I'm sure. Check this out. They want to save $7.9 billion during the next 5 years through recommendations in the study of back office waste, which itself cost about $9 million to complete, the Defense Department's acting deputy chief management officer told the House panel. Can you crunch those numbers? I'm just wondering. The study's original findings, as well as a perceived lack of action from the Defense Department, riled members of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, which held the hearing on the fate of the report as President Donald Trump's administration plans a $54 billion, that's billion with a B, boost in defense spending by cutting other federal programs such as foreign aid. Well, damn it, we need to cut foreign aid. Should have done that years ago. Quote, I think the one thing I would take unequivocal issue with is that the report was in any way suppressed, says David Tillotson III, who is acting as Defense Department Deputy Chief Management Officer. Quote, it was actively discussed within the department at the time and has formed the basis of discussion since that time, unquote. In other words, they're still talking about it. Talk. No one walks the walk, or, Got politicians up there so old they're using walkers. Anyway, the study found more than 1 million Defense Department employees. What? The study found more than 1 million Defense Department employees perform non-combat related work such as human resources, finances, healthcare management, and property management, and $125 billion could be saved by making those operations more efficient. The study conducted by the Defense Business Board, an advisory body to the Pentagon, and included work by two contracted groups. What? We have $125 billion going to human resources, finances, healthcare management, and property management in the Pentagon? What the hell for? And then they say, oh, we'll save that by making those operations more efficient. How about getting rid of them? How about downsizing them? How about putting them on notice and saying, if you don't do it efficiently in the next 6 months to a year, you're out of here. We're going to cut your funding half. We're going to try to work on $50 billion, okay? No. What the hell, folks? The saved money could be enough to fund 50 additional Army brigades or 10 Navy carrier strike group deployments, the Defense Business Board found. Oh, yeah. Cut the money, build up the military. How about getting 250,000 military troops in the United States on the borders and stopping the illegal aliens coming over from Canada, the coasts, and from the southern border? How about that, folks? Hey, Washington, D.C., how about listening to we the people, because we know better than you jackasses. So far, most of the projected $7.9 billion in savings will come from information technology purchases and service contracts, according to Tillerson. Oh, let me translate that for you in English, folks. So far, most of the projected $7.9 billion, that's your tax money, that you give them every year, and matching funds from other areas in savings is $7.9 billion in savings. This is what they project they're going to. In other words, we're guessing that we're going to save $8 billion. We're guessing. It's projected. We have no idea because the actuality of the money is not even here. So therefore, we don't know, but we're going to project an $8 billion savings. Well, where's that going to come from? It's going to come from information technology purchases. You know what that means, folks? One word, robots. And services contracts. It's going to come from... It says here, and let me say this again, so far, most of the projected $7.9 billion in savings will come from information technology purchases. Wait a minute, they're spending money to make money? That's one aspect of it. They're spending money to save money? Wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, that's insane. Okay. And services contracts, in other words, outsource. They're outsourcing most of the work, folks. They're not hiring people to do the work. No. They're not hiring you and I to go to Washington, D.C. to do the work. No. They're taking money, our tax dollars, and going outside of Washington, D.C. to hire contractors to do the work. Hello? Want to save some money? How about getting rid of all of that? How about just increasing some of the technology that's already there and updating it a little bit instead of building new stuff? You know what I'm saying? Going on, he said finding more savings might be difficult due to the Pentagon's long-running resistance to efficiency and audit efforts. In other words, you got the money, we're going to spend it. That's what the Pentagon does. We want to save money? No, screw you. We'll just double our expenses. Going on, and that lawmakers could help with legislation such as a new round of base realignments and closures to help the department shed excess and costly real estate. What? Can you say the Clinton administration? The Air Force Base that I was at in Illinois and ran to Illinois, Chanute Air Force Base back in the 80s, guess what? That one's closed. Why? Thank you, Bill Clinton. How efficient do you want to make the military? Guess what they're doing, folks. Let's piece this together with other articles I've read to you about how the military is working with DARPA and the European agencies of military to create androids, to create robots for the military. Have you seen the technology from China and Japan about robot technology? Lordy, we're going to have a lot of fun on the field of battle when it comes to clones. Okay, they're also looking at that. Okay, have you seen Universal Soldier? Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. This stuff is scary, I know, folks. But you got to remember, We're not dealing with a sane federal government of Washington, D.C. We're not. Okay, I'm just letting you know. All right? But let me read that again because I want you to get your head wrapped around this. He said, this would be, oh God, now I got to go back and find a guy's name. Anyway, let me just read on because of time constraints. Finding more savings might be difficult due to the Pentagon's long-running resistance to efficiency and audit efforts, and that lawmakers could help with legislation such as a new round of base realignments and closures to help the department shed excess and costly real estate. Quote, there is an internal challenge. That is our job. We will go fight those battles, and in some instances, we are assisted by actions on the Hill, unquote, he said. Tillotson. Tillotson. There we go. That's who said this. The Washington Post reported in December that the Pentagon tried to shelve the findings because it feared Congress might use them to slash its budget. At the time, the chairman of the Senate and House Armed Services Committee, Senator John McCain, Republican of Arizona, and Representative Mac Thornberry, Republican of Texas, said the report of $125 billion in potential waste was not surprising, and both had been working for years to trim back the growth of headquarters staff, civilian workers, and contractors. Let me translate that part of that into English, folks. These representatives, Senator John McCain, Trader, and Representative Mac Thornberry, don't know who he is, said the report of $125 billion in potential waste. In other words, they don't know if it's wasted. They have no idea. It's potential. Potential waste. What is, we don't know. Was not surprising, and both had been working for years to trim back growth in headquarters staff, civilian workers, and contractors. I chuckle because trim back growth. You know what that means? Let me translate that for you in street vernacular. Trim back growth. You know what that means? Yeah, they were working for years to trim back growth. They're not going to hire you. That's one aspect of it. The B side of that is the fact that they're outsourcing most of this work. Headquarters staff, okay, you got the headquarters, you got people there working. Civilian workers, there you go, there's some of the outsourced. GS workers is what they're called. And contractors. That's the outsource. They got the infrastructure at the headquarters staff. They have the workers, the civilian workers that are working there and elsewhere. And then they outsource all of the major work in terms of contractors and, builders and, you name it. They contract that out to somebody else. They outsource that out to somebody. They don't do it themselves. You think they want to stop pushing their pencils around and go out and pick up a hammer? You're crazy. Lawmakers on Tuesday wanted to know why the department has not used the report to find more savings because they don't want to. Quote, did we waste $8 to $9 million of the taxpayers' money on a report that identifying waste in the Pentagon? And if we didn't waste it, what have been the savings that came out of this report, unquote. In other words, they spent money to come up with a report that says, we potentially see the waste, and we are going to do that. We guess that there's going to be waste at the Pentagon in the back offices, workings and all of that. We see this, but we're going to spend $8 to $9 billion of taxpayer money to help you try to figure this out. And we don't know ourselves. Do you understand where that's going? By the way, that last part, Representative Jamie Raskin, a Democrat of Maryland, said that. Did we waste $8 to $9 million of taxpayer money on a report identifying waste in the Pentagon? If we didn't waste it, what have been the savings that came out of this report? Unquote. And if we didn't waste it, he's that's like getting grants from the federal government to study sex lives of gnats. You know what I'm saying? They just spent $8-9 million on to come up to get the people together, to pay them to come up with some sort of report to identify potential and estimated waste of the Pentagon. And guess what? Yeah, there's waste. Of course there is. But it's called black projects. It's called the Aurora Project. It's called, the not the upgrade, but the total reinvention of the Blackbird SR-71. It's just, there's something better than that coming out anyway. It's just all these black projects from the military, from DARPA, from the military industrial complex. Come on. Is it waste? What are we using this technology for if it's not for increasing the productivity of the American people themselves and increasing our freedom and liberty and securing this nation once and for all? What is that used for? Come on. Plus the elites, these globalists that are out there they're leaving the United States. Do you know why? Because we're in the toilet and somebody's getting ready to flush it. Okay? They've built their compounds in their, elsewhere in the world, in New Zealand and Belize and South America and all these other places. They've left the United States because they know that we're about ready to go right down the drain. And the money they make from our demise is going to be more than you can imagine. Okay? They're betting against the United States surviving. But what they don't understand, they may understand it, so that's why they're working double time to try to stop us from achieving greatness again. What they don't understand is that we the people are a resilient people. We the people will get beat, battered, bruised, and bloodied on the battlefield, but guess what? We stand up and we keep moving. We keep moving. We keep moving. If there's 100,000 of us, on the battlefield, and we get to the end goal and we wipe out the enemy, and there's only about 50,000 of us standing, guess what? We won. They don't understand this. They're going to push everything they have against us, and guess what? It's not going to work. They did it before. And they failed miserably. Okay? So, this is what's going to happen, folks. Yeah. We see it coming. I'm not scaring you. I don't want to scare anybody because I'm not a fearmonger. Here it is. There's the truth. There it is right there. I'm just showing you what is going on. And a lot of people, and I say this because it is out there, a lot of people will say that, well, we have to put faith in our government to know what they're doing and they're doing the right thing and on all this, that, and the other thing. Well, if you identify these people for who they are, they're anti-Trump people. That's just the way it is. They're who they are. They can't hide that. Okay? They know this. They can't hide that. And they understand, even I understand, and possibly you understand that these people are all through the United States, and they're trying to weasel their way into to state offices and basically what they're doing is they're sociopaths creating cancer in our society out of the lack of intellectual prowess that they have, but it sounds good and they want it to sound good. And so they are told how to create it to make it sound good. But in reality, they're there to insert deadly, ailments into this intellectual discussions we are having. And in that, as a result of that, it will bring down the United States because of the fact that more and more people believe the lies, the convenient lies, than they do the absolute truth. And that's, that's just the way it is. Okay? And I don't know. I don't know. I just, I look at everything and I examine what is going on. I examine the very nature of these people, and I cannot, and I know this, I see this, I've experienced this. Oh, yeah, it's all right there. These people don't know what the hell they're doing. These leftists in Washington, D.C., I don't even want to call them leftists. They're they're propagandists. They believe they're bullcrap. They believe that what they're doing is just fine and dandy. Okay? They think everything's fine. They think it's just, wonderful. They think it's just, and it's not. To tell you the truth, it's not. Okay? I don't know where. I was going to say something, but I can tell you right now it was the wrong thing to say. I was going to say I don't know where people's heads are at, but I can tell you straight up they're up their ass. Because they don't understand what's going on. These leftists, these progressives, these Republicans and Democrats, both, they don't know what's going on. They have no clue. All they care about is, I want to do this. Oh, something's in the way, let's destroy it. And I want power and prestige, and I want this, and I want that. And they don't care who the hell they run over, okay? They don't care what business they're going to have to put out of business. Overregulation causes people to not start small businesses because of the fear of the overregulation itself. What's in it? Well, you got to do this and you got to do that, and it's got to be the region, and blah, 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 blah. It's just a bunch of crap. Here's how to start a business. Go down, fill out a business thing, a little business license, whatever, and fill out your fictitious form name if you have one. Unless your name's in the business, then you don't have to do that. Yes, go check it out. And just boom, there you go. You pay the fee, boom, you're out. You're out the door. That's it. You don't have to fill out it. That's how easy it should be. As a matter of fact, back in the 70s, that's how easy it was. But now with, you got to do this and you got to blah, 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 blah. Did you know that there are more politically correct items that you need to have when you start a business now than there was 40 years ago? When I say politically correct, I'm talking everything. Well, you got to accommodate this person. You got to do this. You got to do. Go talk to the people in Oregon that. I think it was the people in Oregon that were baking the cakes, and this same-sex couple came in and wanted a cake, and the Christian couple that owned the store went, "No, we can't do that." They were sued out of business. Why? Because they weren't politically correct. I would have said, "Hey, there's other cake decorators around town. Go use them. As a matter of fact, I'll recommend a few for you. Here you go." And if they want my business, they do it my way. I'll recommend a few people. I don't do this because of moral issues, because of religious issues. Here's a card. There you go. I recommend these two people. They are fantastic. You'll love them. But no, that couple sued this baker and his wife and put him out of business. How about that couple that had a ranch, had an area on their property where they did, weddings, and had a place where they can do this and all that. Well, same thing, same-sex couple, not the same couple, but somebody else came along and said they wouldn't do it, sued them, and they stopped doing weddings. That's political correctness. That is basically the hostile version of political correctness. That's what it is. That's the hostile engagement of political correctness from the leftists, the propagandists, the communists, the Marxists, all these people that want tyranny in the United States of America. They are the ones that are screwing this country for what, and we need to get rid of them. We need to send them on their way and put them in another country that suits their political ideology. Oh, folks, I don't know. I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I'm just going to be ranting, and you don't want to hear that, do you? So I'm going to go away now. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.